Hey, it's me, Tim, and most of you probably already know this, but I have this like side hustle besides my guitar business where I make tools under the name SqWAYre Tools. The website sqwayrtools.com. I advertise for it here sometimes. And the whole premise of this tool company is I make tools that I see a need to either change or modify, or there's a void somewhere in the tools that I'm using, which is mostly guitar making. But some of these tools apply to other types of things. So over the years, like the original SqWAYre tool I made was this. It's just a sort of multi-tool. It was a ruler that was flat on two sides and a bunch of other things. You can go learn all about this in past videos and stuff. But the tool that I'm most proud of is the center square, which is just taking this very basic technology and putting it into a size that made sense for the type of work that I was doing. However, it doesn't always fit exactly what I need it to do. Sometimes it's a little too big. So that's why I'm really excited to announce today the mini center square. You can see this is a stripped down version of the bigger square. It's a little less complicated, fewer moving parts, no wood handles or brass pins, but the main difference is that it goes down to about a 1/4 inch or even a little bit less than a 1/4 inch on its smaller size thanks to the change in the shape of the head. And it opens up to about 2 3/8 inches, so it's good for, little center finding jobs. Normally when I launch a new tool, I make some sort of like silly little infomercial about it, but this isn't a totally new tool. It's a redesign. So at the end of this video, I'm going to put the original little commercial I made for this modified for the mini center square. But so the thing that I'm really excited about for this, besides the fact that it does some things that this thing can't do, it does do a lot of what this can do. But more importantly, because it's so much smaller and simpler, I can manufacture these and sell these for about half the price of this. So let me show you real quickly the differences between the two and what this can do that the center square can't. So the most obvious differences are the sizes, of course, which you can see here against the original square. I'll show you the actual measurements in a minute. But it is much, much smaller and a little less complicated. So there's fewer moving parts or parts that need to be made, like the little brass pins on the larger square that you can use to sort of squeeze things. And so you can see I did it in centimeters here, 2 centimeters to 12 centimeters for the large one, and about 6 millimeters to 6 centimeters for the smaller one. The handle side of the larger center square also finds the center of about 12 inches. So I built the original center square. I wanted it to get up to that wider size for some of the needs that I had, but because of the way it's built, I just can't quite get to some of the smaller sizes that I wanted to get to. Like you can see here, I can't measure between the frets with the larger center square, but with the smaller center square, I can measure between the frets as well as that fret width. So there's a lot of places where even these like really tiny frets on this mandolin, I could say find the side position marker location on all the way up on these tiny frets with this thing, whereas with my center square, I'm limited to just more like the bigger things here, like the nut and the bridge type of center locations and stuff. So it really just gets into some of these tighter areas that I can't quite get into with my bigger center square. Here you can see on a regular size guitar, like I can find the center of some of these smaller frets with the little one, whereas the big one, when it's fully closed, would just be larger than that. So there's still a tiny bit of guesswork involved. And actually this is an overseas factory made neck, and I can see that dot is not perfectly centered. I thought that was pretty interesting. But I didn't want to make the little one only do things that the big one couldn't do. I wanted to have it sort of have a little bit of overlap. So for example, this is still wide enough to measure the full width of the strings at the bass bridge or the guitar bridge, as well as the nut. So in some ways here you can see that I'm using the regular square, which I normally would, but then with the little one I can go and I can actually find the center location of my bridge and my nut and all that other stuff with this little one. So I think in some ways, if you're a guitar maker, this one would almost make more sense for you for doing your guitar layout, and then maybe the bigger one would be something you would purchase in the future if you felt the need. One of the things I love using my center square for is finding the side center of guitars for like putting the strap pins and stuff, and as you see, even the little inexpensive one will do that. So it'll almost do everything you need. Here I'm even showing that I was able to use it to help me eyeball my string spacing. So I found the center of my nut, which could come in handy, and then I was able to go and look at my string spacing at the nut end and sort of make them all equal by just seeing, making minor adjustments that way and finding it. And I can also use it to find the center of circles, which it's not designed to do or not the best to do, but it can. You can see I'm just sort of scratching. There are other tools that do this better, of course, but in a pinch it'll work. You find the center of a circle. It comes in handy for laying out electronics and stuff like that. drilling in position markers. Of course, my channel is a maker channel, so I'll just show you briefly that I do get these parts, once I design them and I rent a few prototypes, I get them cut by sendcutsend.com, which is a great way to make small businesses like mine functional. And here I'm using my Thunder Laser fiber lasers to just etch my logo into them before going into the process of assembling them, which is basically a lot of riveting. And you have to be careful of the order. There's some... it's really easy to make a mistake and have a rivet be upside down or have something overlap improperly. But, I enjoy doing this kind of work sometimes. It's good to develop little systems. And then the hardest part of it was setting up on the last step. I had to use these very, very, very tiny washers because I don't have a handle on it like the original SqWAYre to get everything all lined up properly, which was tedious. Here you can see the size of these washers. They're less than a 1/4 inch in diameter on the outside with an 1 inch diameter hole, so there's just not a lot of metal there, but it's just necessary to get the motion and spacing just right. I skipped a lot of steps, and I was just showing you very briefly the assembly process, but I oiled them all and moved them, and I also have to grind down the aluminum rivets that I put in it, and I make sure they're all moving properly and layered in the proper way. I leave a little bit of the light oil on them when it ships to you just to keep them lubricated. And I also make on my Thunder Laser, I make little cases out of MDF and closet doors for the back, as well as a cardboard case, because I really like to have a package that, I need to protect them when I ship them, but I thought I might as well just make the package something that you can continue to use for storage. Oh yeah, and in the winter I just use my wood-burning stove as a shrink wrap machine. When I do this type of packaging in the summer, which I do a lot for my guinea pig tanks and whatever, sometimes it's just warm enough in the room where the cling wrap will stick to itself, but then I also have a broken coffee pot that I use just so I'm not having to heat up my whole shop to stick plastic together. But yeah, so these will retail for about half the price of the full-size SqWAYre and do a lot of what, if you're a guitar maker or luthier, a lot of what you need to do. Might be a good way to start. So like all the tools that I make and sell, there is only one place you can get them, and that is SqWAYREtools.com. So go check it out and you can order these. I made a small first batch. If they do sell out, I will allow back orders, and it'll just take me a couple weeks to get the back orders going. But I can make these so much faster than the other ones, so I can get them out faster too. And go check out some of the other tools that are there while you're at it. There's a couple pretty cool things. So again, this is half the price of the original center SqWAYre, and it does a lot of what the original one does, and some stuff it can't. So thanks for watching, man. All right, here's that little silly infomercial I made a few years ago when I launched the original one. Be good.
For many years, I have been on a quest to discover purpose in our cosmically insignificant lives. I look for order in the chaos, reason in the unreasonable. I've studied history's greatest work and dissected them with only the sharpest minds among my peers. I've also retreated into the inner depths of my own consciousness. Many seek out my wisdom. I have come to a conclusion. In order to live a truly fulfilled life, each and every one of us must find our own undeniable meaning for existence, perfectly balanced between self and others. As the Buddhists say, the Dharma of the middle way. We all must find our center. And unfortunately, I cannot help you with this.
But I can help you find the center of this guitar neck. There it is. Introducing the Mini Center SqWAYre. Available only at SqWAYREtools.com. Hurry while supplies last.